Brian McCarthy interview show. If you're under 18, don't listen. Having said that, the show is really awesome. And if you did listen, no one would really know. But don't listen. Don't listen, kids. Okay? Don't listen.
Niños, escuchen estas palabras mientras que salen de mis labios aprietos. El siguiente programa, aunque esto sea muy divertido para toda la gente, no es para los niños. Como un burro que busca agua fría, un balde, y eso le va a dar toda la satisfacción que necesita, esta agua no es para ustedes. Por favor, vayan donde sus padres. Ayúdelos a limpiar los baños. No vayan a escuchar esto. Es muy importante. Que Dios nos bendiga a los Estados Unidos.
Enfants du monde, détournez les yeux et bouchez-vous les oreilles. Le programme suivant, bien que spectaculaire et divertissant à tous égards, n'est pas pour vous. Veuillez vous détourner et jouer dans les Champs-Élysées ou peut-être dans les catacombes humides de Paris, car devant vous se trouve la ruine. Vous avez été prévenus, s'il vous plaît. N'écoutez pas, et pourtant, sachez que nous faisons tout cela pour vous, car vous êtes l'avenir et vous êtes la lumière. Que Dieu vous bénisse et dit bonjour à votre mère de ma part.
你好，圆眼睛的年轻人，请晋升阅读本内容，因为本内容仅供成年人阅读。如果你违背父母意愿选择阅读本内容，他们将不再爱你，你这个老兵。
Utautakoa obiaseke meazane otatia ulube kwa teazate usepo tatukua kalimu uko umnakwe akasume utautakoa obiaseke meazane otatia ulube kwa teazate uyoba obisha abichina.
Brian McCarthy interview show. Adam is now drinking his Coke. Disco. Listen to that beat. Breaking it down in Uptown. Take your hand and touch it. Now rub it. Brian McCarthy interview show. Listen to that beat. Touch it. Now rub it. I wish I could still drink.
You leaving? All right. Love you, honey. See you. Hey, everybody. Pretzel did not pee. So show's over. Thank you. No Shane Gillis story now. Pretzel fucked it up for everybody. Everybody, Pretzel's one of the dogs. Everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Brian McCarthy, and sitting stage right is Adam Hineker. I always like it when you listen to a podcast and they go, boy, we've got a lot to get to today.
Oh, boy.
We got a lot to
so
get
much
to.
get to.
What are you talking about? It's completely manufactured. Everything is, nothing even has to even be said, what you're going to say. But we have a lot to get to, and we want to get to it. But
yeah.
Hello. Thank you for joining us, by the way. Obviously, on all social media, it's Brian M. Show, and Patreon is always an available thing. As a matter of fact, let me just hit this right on top of the show.
Please.
Thank you. You know,
hit it.
So today is, and it's only a good story for a variety of reasons. It's worth saying because there is history in this, and there's, this is the, I'm not going to bury the lead here. Last weekend.
I think you should have more of a preamble.
I know, right?
I think you should prepare a statement.
In about a month, we're going to get to this story. In light of recent events. We'll take no questions until. Yes. No, look. Fundamentally, it shouldn't even be a story. And I was in Austin, Texas last weekend, seeing Joe DeRosa, whose new special, by the way, is available on YouTube, and it's very, very funny. I don't want to start because I will, you know me, I'll start to fucking get off into left and right and up and down. I'm bobbing and weaving. I'm like Trump.
Yeah,
weaving and bobbing.
But they all kind of weave together.
Oh, yeah. It's a tapestry that
dovetail nicely your subjects.
A French wall hanging, also known as an obeson.
Okay.
So anyway, so I saw Joe's hour when I was down there. And again, I'll get into it.
You saw him run his hour?
I saw him go up.
Some go up and run his hour.
Go up and ran his hour. I had notes. I'm going to tell the whole story, and we're going to just relax, and we're going to just get into the whole thing, and we're going to try and keep it like in a chronological order. And so, but I will say, I want to get to something independent of all this, but nothing. It was so funny because the whole trip was, it was fine. Nothing really of any interest happened until about 10 o'clock Sunday night.
Kind of the very last night, right?
Put it this way, it was like I was taking my skates off at the skating rink, and a girl came up and said, it's ladies' choice, and I had I quickly put my skates back on, stubbed out my
Mhm.
Winston.
You went and
Yeah.
did the snowball.
Yep.
Skated the snowball.
And I do the
To Dreamweaver.
yeah, I do the drums for In the Air Tonight. I go do 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 do.
Yeah, that's a good snowball song.
Yeah,
In the air tonight.
it's fucking awesome. So we're gonna do all that. But what I do want to talk about very quickly, because it still annoys me.
What's on the docket?
Every night that I was there, I would go to a different restaurant, right? It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And 2 of the nights I dined. Well, who am I kidding? 3 of the nights? 2 of the nights? 3 of the nights, I guess I dined alone. Well, 2 of the nights. Anyway, the last
be dining alone
Sunday night. By the way, and spoiler alert, I love to eat alone. I think it's
I love
fucking
doing
great.
everything alone.
I know, me too. I sit there and I listen to my book or my YouTube thing. I found these great German Waffen SS officers, their memoirs, their diaries that they wrote. I sit there and listen to the Eastern Front in 1944. You don't want to be there. And I sit there and I eat, and it's fine. It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
I'd rather do that than have to sit across from somebody, unless I like the person, in which case it's different.
But it's hard to find company to where it's like not a little bit of work.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever have that happen where you're like, you spend the day with a friend and then you're like a little bit exhausted afterwards from like trying to keep up conversation.
Or sometimes you'll have like an agenda. Like I've taken a lot of people to lunch because I want something.
You want to like sell them a timeshare or
Yeah.
something because
Like,
you want something.
Yeah. I'm like, have you ever
Like,
thought?
what do you want?
Listen, you go to the Ozarks off season, you're making money.
Right.
You know, yeah. Can you go on the lakes? No, but I
Mhm.
tell you what, the restaurants are empty. And Branson, Missouri is only a 4-hour drive.
Full pontoon
Oh,
privileges.
yeah, and the lakes barely ever freeze over. And if they do, you ice skate, but just make sure the ice is it's not too thin.
Uh-huh.
I lost my time.
I'm trying to think if I've ever gone to lunch with somebody because I wanted something.
That's how my sister died. What?
I'm like really
she fell
kind of-
through the ice.
I'm racking my brain.
Okay, what I mean is like there have been, like, for example, the Jeffrey Gurian story.
Okay,
when
yeah.
I took Jeffrey
Of
Gurian
course.
to lunch because I wanted to get on Bennington.
Okay,
and,
yeah.
you know, that kind of thing.
I've gone to lunches. I wanted something, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, some pussy.
In that kind of, like,
But yeah, you want like, or I can think of lots of examples where I've taken somebody to lunch. And by the way, those people should never say yes to the lunch unless they're going to take me to lunch. But that very rarely
like
happens.
there needs to be reciprocity.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent.
Okay.
Like there have been times where I was going to maybe work with somebody, or I say, hey, let's go to lunch. And if I bring them something like an opportunity or something, and they go, we had a nice lunch. And then afterwards it's they should even if they don't want to do it, they should take me to lunch. But I digress.
Okay.
I digress.
Okay.
For somebody who didn't want to get lost in the weeds, we're 40 minutes into the show and I haven't even
rules to socializing.
So Sunday night, which is the most exciting night of the trip for the sake of this episode of this bullshit. I went to a restaurant called Kimberly, which is I wanted to go to a place called Red Ash. And I thought it was Red Ass. I said, what's this, a Native American strip club?
Baboon's butt.
Fucking. I said, hey, she runs with my boner. All right. So anyway, I tried to go to this place, Red Ash, by myself. And it was a Sunday night. I figured I could go. Very fucking busy. So they said, we have a sister restaurant named Kimberly. And so,
Sister Kim.
And it's funny because Austin, Texas runs on a slope. So for example, my hotel was on 7th Street. This Red Ash place was on 2nd Street. So I had to go all the way down to 2nd Street.
You got to go about 5 blocks.
Yeah, but it's down.
And
then when I got
5 blocks.
When I got down there, they were like, all right, you can go our sister restaurant, which is on 7th Street. So I had to go all the way down, all the way back. And it's fucking 99 degrees there.
Yeah.
So, and humid. So
in
anyway,
the shade.
99 degrees and at night even. So it's good. And flies as big as Volkswagen Beetles. All right. So anyway, I went to this Kimberly restaurant and I had called ahead on the way there. And I said, look, it's just me. They want to sit me at the bar. And I said, look, I'll just sit at the shittiest table in the restaurant. I don't care. Put me somewhere. So they put me
rickety. The one with the napkins.
They gave me a table. There was a sleeping busboy
from.
Yeah, like, don't wake him up.
Yeah.
He's worked he worked brunch today. And he was having his own mimosa party.
He's doing a double.
Eduardo is hammered.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look him in the eyes because he's violent. They sent me with a violent alcoholic Ecuadorian busboy. So I sat at this table and the waiter comes over and gives me the menu, and nice enough guy. Pretty sure he was gay, and which was fine. But like, I think it's funny when they give you the menu and he's kind of looking at me like, Have you ever been down with us before? I said, no, I have not. Let me take you through the menu. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate that. I'm like, I kind of know what I'm looking for. It's fine. He's like, will you be having bread service tonight? So then I look at the menu.
Bread service, a flight of bread.
It's something that some places are doing now. And I find it, and this is the thing that I want to talk about. And then I'll get into the story. But they have a whole section of the menu where you can order bread. So like, and I've seen this a couple of places, and I just think it's fucking obnoxious. Either bread is supposed to be like a welcoming, here, you're welcome to our restaurant. Have some sourdough rolls or some Parker House, whatever, or some ciabatta, or or a brioche or whatever. Yeah. And here's some bread. Thank you. What it is like a symbol of hospitality. I don't want to spend $14 on like a fucking olive loaf of semolina or whatever. I don't like it when restaurants try to charge for bread. I think it's obnoxious. And I almost actually left the restaurant when I saw they had bread service.
Principle.
Yeah. And also there was a guy sitting at the bar with a baseball hat on, and that was driving me nuts. So, but anyway, I know I'm getting crazier by the minute.
It's either me or him.
Yeah. Excuse me. Can you tell that Huckleberry to fucking
go?
Hey, University of Texas at Who Gives a Shit. Can you take off your fucking dumb hat? We're indoors. Okay. You're not working your oil rig. Anyway, or Derek, excuse me. I'm not in the industry. So anyway, so the bread service was obnoxious, but I ended up having dinner there. It was fine. So now we're putting that away. I'm now going to go through no bread service in restaurants. Either have an appetizer, entree, dessert. That's fine. It was funny though, because I ordered the duck, and it came over, and the guy, the waiter came over, and he was watching me, and it came in, and he goes, and he smelled my entree, which I thought was a little presumptuous, but he didn't like put his nose down by it, but he was staying by me, and he goes, I can smell the au jus. So you know what I said? I said, just in time for Rosh Hashanah.
There you go.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Definitely gay. Probably not Jewish.
Probably not. Probably didn't even get it.
And I went to the Iron Bear, which was a bear bar. No even though I called ahead, and no t-shirts.
Yeah.
I called ahead, and they said they had t-shirts and pint glasses. Right. And the bartender had an amputated leg, which was,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, and that was, you had kind of rolled in probably peak time, right? Because wasn't that like on a Friday or something, or was that Thursday evening? I remember you had texted me about it. It was in the evening.
Yeah, so it was Friday evening, Friday early evening. I mean, none of the places I went to, except for that Red Ash and the Kimberly place, that were particularly busy. I mean, I don't know if it's an off weekend there or what, but anyway, all right. So I was there last week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, coming home on Monday. So, and I wanted to see Kurt Metzger, who's an old friend of mine, and I wanted to see Joe, right? Because if you all remember, I was going to go down back in August, I think it was, and it was Ari Shafir's green room. So Joe wasn't sure if he could get me in the green room, and I was annoyed. And so I just, as a point of personal pride, I said, I'm going to go down to Austin and just do that. So, and I went to see Kurt. Kurt has moved there. Kurt lives there. And I met Kurt's girlfriend, Jenna Sparrow, very nice girl, easy on the eyes too. I felt bad because she was coming on.
Jenna Sparrow, would you feel like she was
in front,
laying it on thick,
right in front of me, like, right in front of Kurt?
Sweetie,
like, honey,
married man.
Yeah.
Is she like in some kind of show?
She does.
If I look her up,
she does. You should be able to find her. She's blonde girl, very pretty.
Comedian.
No, she's not Canadian. No,
comedian.
Oh God, they said Canadian.
Yeah, Canadian comedian. No, I just when I Google her, the first thing that comes up is Jenna Sparrow, comedian age.
Oh, okay.
So let's
there you
check
go.
her out.
So all right. So I got into town Thursday.
Ooh,
I got to the Royal Sonesta, which is where I was staying. And as soon as I got there, they checked me in. They said, "Oh, you're a member of the rewards program." I said, yep. They said, well, you get the free high-speed Wi-Fi, and we're going to put you in a preferred room. So I had this
love it.
Corner room with a bunch of windows. It was a very nice room. It was fine. Nice old hotel. That was no problems there. So Thursday night, I get in around, I guess, 4:00 or so. And I told Kurt and his girlfriend, I had made a reservation at this place called Steiner Ranch. And I should have known that any place with the name Ranch in it was going to be not in downtown Austin.
Probably not. Austin. Yeah.
So it was like 45 minutes outside. And apparently the traffic in Austin is terrible.
Really?
Well, it's one of these cities where it's gotten like bigger than the infrastructure
Yeah, gotcha.
can accommodate. There's only
Too
three.
big for it. I think the technical term is too big for its britches.
Yeah, too big for its dungaree britches.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's trying to put 10 gallons in a 5-gallon cowboy hat.
Yeah, we're bottlenecking,
as we say down there. So it was I canceled that reservation, and then Kurt said I have a spot. It's an industry term for doing comedy.
Oh,
and
he's going up.
He's going up. He was going up somewhere. He's going up at the mothership, comedy mothership.
Okay.
And so he said, "Can we do something, in the area?" So I said, "Sure." So I found this place, Perry Steakhouse place. We went, and I met Kurt with his girlfriend, and we had a lovely dinner. We had the beef Wellington, and then we had this massive pork chop.
Ooh.
And then Kurt got barbecue sauce on his shirt, so he had to leave.
Silly goose.
So he had to leave. So he had to leave.
You didn't have your Tide stick on you.
No, I did. I just didn't want to let him use it.
Yeah, it wasn't large. It wasn't big enough.
I said club soda and salt. We'll get that out. I'm not wasting my Tide stick on that.
Sure.
Because I don't want. Then you get barbecue sauce on the Tide stick, and then who's laughing? Nobody.
Yeah, it's hard to get Sweet Baby Ray's out of your Tide stick.
Yeah. So, so when I talked to Kurt leaves, and now I'm alone with the girlfriend. Nice girl. We're talking about. Yeah. She's from Florida. They live in LA. Blah blah blah. And that was pretty uneventful. And then she and I walked over. This mothership place is 1 block down, so it's like 7654. It goes down a hill. So we're on 7. We walk down to 6, and it's like 3 or 4 kind of east. I tell you, if I lived in that town, I would it's not a whole lot to it. So, but you can, there's a lot to do, and it's fine. It's a nice place. Everyone relax. It's fine. But like, it's the area.
Everybody relax.
Everybody relax. Well,
take a deep breath, everybody.
This might get a little cunty. So I'm trying, I don't want to, I guarantee some of this is going to be taken out of context. And I don't want somebody to say I'm shitting on Austin, because it was fine.
It's fine.
It's what it is. You know, it's, like I'm 52 years old. I'm not like looking to go to a fucking $4 kamikaze bar.
Right. You like food trucks?
Yeah. I kept,
it's great.
I kept making jokes to all the comedians that are going up all over town. I kept saying, I'm so old. I feel like I should have like a Polaroid of my daughter, and I'm walking around showing it to bouncers. Have you seen my daughter? Have you seen my daughter, Tracy?
Yeah.
She was following a band called Fish, and they stopped somewhere out around here. I'm looking for her.
She was last seen at the bus station.
Yeah. Her arms are full of scabs. She's got a heroin problem. So one thing I did see a guy standing on the corner on 7th Street, just wearing a jock strap, just kind of hanging out.
Okay. Well, the Austin, weird. Keep it weird.
It's hot
right?
too. It does get hot. He looked very comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing about like homeless people that are on drugs and like that. They look everyone else is not comfortable. They look like they don't care in the world. So when I had decided to come down to Austin, I had talked to somebody who shall remain nameless because I don't get them in trouble, blah, blah, blah. But I had mentioned that they said, what do you plan on doing down there? And I said, well, I want to see Joe, I want to see Kurt. And I was going to see a couple of people in the vision community, but that ended up not happening, which is fine. Although, to be honest, I could have saw them. Who knows?
Yeah, you may have very well have seen each other or been in proximity and not known it.
We may have shared a $30 platter of breads at Kimberly.
Yeah. Right, could have brought you bread service.
You gonna finish that baguette? Would you call me? No. Are you gonna finish the baguette? So and I said my only thing is, I said I wonder. I had this thing with. It sounds so stupid out loud, but I had this thing with Shane Gillis, like. Not even a thing with him, but years ago when I was doing the show with Kevin Brennan, Shane came on the show.
This was at Compound Media.
It's Compound Media.
Yeah. And I remember because Shane did a show there as well. And then I think he stopped when he was like, he got he was up for SNL because he didn't want to be associated with Compound Media.
I think that. Yeah, he's like, let's see, I can either make fun of black people or Chinese people. I'm gonna go with Chinese people.
Well, he did that was in his own podcast.
Yes.
Which,
thank you.
Unfortunately, still archived on the internet. So
nothing ever goes away.
Pretty easy to find.
So my point is that when I was talking to this person, I said, I know Shane lives down there, and I know that he's friends with Kurt. Now, I wasn't like nervous about seeing Shane or any of that. I don't give a fuck. But the person asked me, I said, I wonder if I run into this guy. I wonder if he's even going to remember. And this person who is pretty tied into this group of people, this person said, yeah, Shane is, and Shane, this is the reputation you have. They said he is very thin-skinned. And I would almost guarantee that
Right.
he will remember this.
Well, and I was telling you as we were having lunch that I remember a couple years ago, Kevin telling me that like he had bumped into Shane at the stand, like when Kevin was, I don't think he's really out doing
when he was leaving the
stand
house
up anymore, but this was when he was, out in public. And he said that Shane came up to him and was like, "What's up with your boy Brian?"
Right.
And not knowing that you guys hadn't worked together in years. And he was like, "I haven't talked to him," but he was
right.
He apparently saw something that was like on Twitter or
well,
something.
apparently somebody, okay. So that was my only thought about this weekend was like, Shane Gillis. But again, I wasn't like nervous about it or anything. I was just kind of like, if I run into this guy, I wonder if he's going to be like,
you would think it'd be kind of water under the bridge. I mean, at this point,
you would think, spoiler alert. So now Thursday night. So now I walk into this, I go to this comedy mothership place with this Jenna. And she and I go in, and she knows everybody there because I don't think she performs there necessarily, but she's Kurt's girlfriend, and she goes in with the two of us. Walk in there, and we go right up to the green room. Get in there. Kurt's up there. Kurt goes on. Kurt's doing again. These are industry terms, so please feel free to Google these terms and just pause the show.
Find some kind of glossary.
Yeah,
maybe
like an Urban Dictionary, but for comics. Going up, crowd work.
Tag 5,
tag,
sure,
bar show,
setup, call back,
Greg Fitzsimmons. So anyway, so we go up to the green room and we're there, and I saw Kurt was doing like a spot, right? So I watched Kurt. Kurt, by the way, everybody, if you haven't seen Kurt's special or whatever, Kurt is very, very funny. And so it was a lot of fun to kind of watch him and do that. And this place is crowded. I mean, it was a big crowd downstairs. So I'm in this room, and then this English comedian, Jimmy Carr, comes in.
Oh, Jimmy Carr. He's like a little British computer.
Yes.
He's like he seems like an autistic joke machine.
Yes. He was a very nice guy. We had a conversation about the Habsburgs and the royal family. Okay. And apparently he's friendly with Camilla Parker Bowles. The one that she's married to the King of England now. Mm-hmm. And I referenced when King then he was Prince Charles, sent her a message, and he said, "I want to be your tampon." I thought that was pretty fucking ballsy. I do remember that. That's nice, and that's a pretty pervy thing to say. Yeah. And then he goes, "No strings attached." Yeah, go ahead. Fucking shut up. So anyway, we're hanging out. That's fine. We're there Thursday night, and I don't even see Joe.
This is Thursday night.
This is Thursday night. I don't even see Joe. So I get up Friday.
I don't even see Joe. I don't even think about Joe. Okay,
he's not even on my radar. Okay,
yeah, I'm there doing other stuff.
Here's the thing: I'm not gonna be all over Joe, right? I mean, it's fine. I'm just gonna whatever. It's
really,
I know, it's so gay.
You're really like a couple of gay homosexuals.
Yeah. Well, I'm just listen. Well, also he's got big, he's got a big weekend coming up with headlining. I
don't want to bother him.
I really didn't. And to be candid, I'm enjoying my Kurt time.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I said. You're barely even thinking Joe who.
I picture Joe like laying in like a cold bath with like cucumber on his eyes, just like waiting for the show tomorrow night.
Probably taking a steam and probably in like a sensory deprivation tank.
Maybe going over material. Like, what's the deal with airplane food? What's the deal with airplane food?
Right.
What's the deal with airplane food?
That's his vocal warm up.
Yeah, exactly. I don't go to
deal the what with food, airplane.
I don't go to your job and knock the dick out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Pause for laughter.
Yep. Just pause for uproarious laughter. So anyway, then it's Friday. Now it's Friday morning, and I get up, and Joe calls. And he was like, "Hey, you should come to my apartment, and let's go get breakfast." And it was like 11 o'clock. I'd already had breakfast, but I said, "Sure, I'll have a second breakfast, like a
Silly
hobbit."
Goose.
Yeah, I got second breakfast.
I just hit the waffle maker.
Yeah, and so I said, "Sure, no problem." So he gives me his address. Now, I could have walked there, but I ended up walking back. But I took a car there, got in the car, guy's driving. Turns out he's Cuban, doesn't speak any English at all. So I'm just talking about, I'm trying to say in my Spanish, I'm like, yeah, Cuban girls have tight pussies. I kept saying like, los chochas para señoritas cubano es muy fuerte, which is strong. So it wasn't the same thing, but we were having a good time. And then he pulls up in front of Joe's building, and I get out. Guy pulls away, and I promptly put my hands in my pockets, and I realized I left my phone in the
so this was Friday morning?
Friday morning.
Oh boy.
Friday late morning.
You're not able to Oh, because it's just you don't have communication with Lyft. It's not like you call the
trust me,
1-800 Lyft.
I did everything.
Office.
I did everything I could. Believe
Sure.
me. I mean, so now I have no phone. I'm in front of Joe's building. It's one of those virtual doormen, so you have to enter the number. So of course I'm fucked. So there turns out to be like a hair salon in his building, like on the corner. And so I walk in there and I said, "Ladies, can someone? I can't really see very well. Can someone buzz me into my friend's door over here? I just left my phone in a lift." And she was like, "Sure, honey. Nope, ain't no thing."
One of those big hair.
Yeah.
They tease their hair real big.
Let me put down my Winston and I'll come right over there. And
I like that.
Yeah. So she came over and buzz. I get into Joe's building. I go upstairs. First thing I say to Joe is I was like, I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, but I left my fucking phone in a lift. So we call my wife. We sort of set it up where like, hey, if you find the phone, call me, blah, blah, blah. And then Joe.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't she call the phone and
trust me,
no answer?
We tried everything.
Yeah. These are not like new.
I know.
I didn't even think of calling the phone. Yeah.
Well, slow down.
Right.
I could have done
whoa.
Hey, hold it.
It's crazy though that you weren't able to.
Hey, William Gates over here.
Right.
Yeah. So
mock turtleneck.
Yeah, I was. So anyway, yeah. So then Joe had some problems with his construction, so I went to see his apartment. Very cute place, kind of like a very large studio, like a loft, Murphy bed.
Oh, okay.
Nice, very nice apartment, and with a balcony and everything. So I looked around. It's nice, cute, very good. And this guy has a toilet. This guy has a toilet. You walk. Oh, sorry. Guy has a toilet, and you walk right past it. The lid just comes up.
Is that right?
I said, "What is this place haunted?" Or
motion sensor.
I didn't realize I was visiting Tron.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, stop it.
We're getting heckled by your dog.
Real quick, I like watching these political things. This Midas Touch guy, and he's talking about how horrible everything is, and then in the background you hear like this dog like barking. I'm like, it kind of takes me out of it.
Yeah,
I don't like legacy media any more than anybody else, but maybe find another room.
Yeah,
you got 3 million people listening to your fucking stuff.
Maybe get a dog walker,
get a dampener or something.
Yeah,
right.
something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So anyway, we go to this place for brunch. I know I'm kind of meandering, so I'll pick it up a little bit. Mm-hmm. So we have breakfast. That's it. And then afterwards, I was like, well, listen. I have to figure out a phone because I need it for a variety of different things. And so I'm kind of fucked if I don't have this stupid phone. So Joe walks me to the Verizon store, which is by his house. By the way, Austin, no shortage of tattoo parlors, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe's sort of way on the east side of town. So we're walking through, walk. And there's like little restaurants and cafes. And it's nice. It's fine, you know. And then there's this Verizon store. I go in the Verizon store. Turns out it's iPhone 17 launch day. So the place is a little busy.
Yeah, buzzing.
But after Joe kind of drops me off, then he leaves. And I waited there for, I don't know, about an hour and a half or so. And I finally got a phone and I sort of was able to get some shit on it and all the, they have to download everything. So then I leave Friday night. I go back to my hotel room, masturbated once
ferociously.
With a vigor, like a 45-year-old. And then I said I knew that I had to get to his place at 9 at the Comedy Mothership at 9:45. So that was when I was supposed to get there. So I said, okay. So I make my way over there. Bob. I get there at 9:45, and there's some activity at the door. I was just there the night before. Come up. Now, everyone that works the door, and I know this because they told me after the fact, but they're all MMA fighters. All the security guys there are MMA fighters, and the comics work the door. So it's very easy to tell
which one's
which one is which.
Open micer and
MMA
fighter.
If one is 70 pounds overweight, wearing a stained shirt, like one that Kurt gave him with barbecue sauce on it,
right.
And another guy, is bald with a braids in his goatee, and he's standing against a wall doing kumite or whatever, and so I go in and I go, hi, I'm Joe's friend. I'm on the list, I think, So they come, they put the thing on my arm. They come over. They're like, they take my phone. Now, the night before, Thursday night, they'd also taken my phone and put it in one of those neoprene bags, right?
Right.
So, okay, fine. So I can't record the show. So fine. Meanwhile, the show is on YouTube, so you could listen to, but I digress. So anyway, so put the phone in the bag, and then the guy was like, do you have AirPods? I said, yeah. And he's like, well, you have to put those away too. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So put them away. He goes, someone's going to come get you. I'm kind of like, oh, all right. This is pretty.
Okay. A liaison.
Brian McCarthy, about time. Brian McCarthy getting a little shine on his apple here. Okay. So guy comes over, takes me to an elevator. We go up the elevator. Elevator opens up. There's a little bit of a hallway, and there's a balcony. I went to the second floor. There's a big balcony. And the night before,
this is what night are we now? Is
Friday night.
This is Friday.
This is the first. This is Friday night. This is the late night Friday show. Second show Friday night.
All right.
So when you go to this mothership, it's like, there's a downstairs, theater seating thing with the bar and all the seating downstairs. I think maybe 300-400 people. And then they have these two balconies. And the one balcony is off of the green room where I was Thursday night. And the other balcony is just, I don't know, there's an elevator and then there's the balcony. So it's kind of like there are these two balconies. So I come out. Now, for those of you who are paying attention, Joe had said to me, he wasn't sure if he could get me in to Friday and Saturday night in terms of seeing the show because it might be really, tight or whatever it is. So I was just like, look, pick whatever night. If you can do both, great. If you can do one, great. If you can't do either one, I guess that's fine too. Whatever. I don't know what to say. So that's fine. So I go up to this balcony and I'm the only person up there. It's just me. I felt like one of the old men from the Muppets, just me up there by myself. And I'm just kind of laughing. This waiter comes over, Gavin. And he comes over and he goes, hi, welcome to the Comedy Mothership. Blah, 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 blah. Can I get you something? And I said, yeah, sure. Let me have vodka. Vodka Red Bull, please. Red Bull, no vodka. Hold the vodka, Gavin. Hold the vodka. I'm going to end up blowing you. So I get the drink. I'm waiting there. All of a sudden, like 10 minutes later, a couple comes. They come through it. And I'm kind of like, all right, more VIPs like me.
Yeah.
And they come and they look around. They look at me. They look at the empty room and they just leave.
Right.
So I was like, all right.
Not happening enough.
And then I look over at the other side, the green room area with its own balcony, and there's people out there. And I'm kind of like, well, why aren't I over there? Why am I on this side of the balcony? But I don't want to make trouble. It's fine. So I'm there. And then I'm waiting. And then it's 9:45. It's 10 o'clock. It's 10:30. I have that Red Bull and I have to pee because it was raining. It was not raining. It was fucking hot as shit. So I'm drinking water all day.
Right.
So I have to get in the elevator. I go back downstairs. I leave my own private balcony and I go downstairs. And then as I'm in the hallway, I see Kurt. Kurt's like, hey, what's up? I was like, nothing. I'm up there. And he's like, well, I didn't see you. I'm like, well, I'm not on that side. I'm on the auxiliary balcony here or whatever. I'm in the John Wilkes Booth suite. Right. And I'm over there. So he goes, well, I'm going to get Mexican food. You want to come with me? I'm going to bring it back. I said, sure. So now I go with him and his girlfriend, go up to, surprise, surprise, a food truck, get a bunch of stuff, go back. And now we go right into the green room. We go to the green room and I don't even see Joe's hour. I don't watch it. And then afterwards, Joe comes in, got standing ovation. People very much love the show. It was a lot of fun. There were a lot of comedians in the room, in this green room that presumably Thursday night I met Kim Congdon. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Congdon. There you go.
Okay.
And she knew me. She was like, oh yeah, I know you from New York. And because you get the feeling, by the way, that it kind of goes like LA to Austin. It's not a whole lot of like New York to Austin, if that makes sense. At least it was when I was there. Yeah. It seems like a lot of, and people tour and they kind of come through. So Thursday night I was talking to her and we were having some laughs. She was making fun of my Toomey crossbody bag. She said it was a purse. I said, it's a crossbody bag. Right. Okay. And it's Toomey and it's the McLaren edition. This orange piping come on, stop. It's enough.
Right.
I'm not a thick skin like Shane Gillis. My feelings get hurt. So anyway, Friday night, hang out. That's fine. Afterwards, they had this thing called Mitzi's Bar. Mitzi named it for Mitzi Shore, the owner of the Comedy Store. And that is basically the bar that is behind. It's like for comedians and comedians' friends. I mean, it's not free, but you go in and I don't know how you're going to love this. I don't know how many civilians were in there, Yeah. So I go into the Mitzi Bar thing. I go on with Kurt. I see Joe. I said, hey, I kind of like pretended like I watched the hour. Right. And I said, hey, I came clean later on because he actually busted me. I think by the second night, he was like, what do you think of the hour? And I said, oh, it's just like the one I saw a year and a half ago at Gramercy. And he goes, no, it's totally
Right.
It's totally new.
Wow.
I said,
So you took a big swing. You just took a gamble and you said, maybe it's
I
the
was
same material.
I was pretty sure it was the same thing that I saw.
Uh-huh.
And
Like,
and then
no, none of it.
yeah, he was like, he goes, did you just hang out in the green room the whole time with Kurt? And then I was kind of like, yeah, I did. I was talking to Kim Congdon and the guy from England.
Sure.
I pretended I was in the business with these guys. And so I said, yeah, but then I will. And again, I'm trying not to jump around, but I ended up watching the whole hour on Sunday night. And it is really, really, really funny. It did a very good job.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, but the hour before was a little darker. I told him, I said, this was very accessible. It was approachable. It was more fun. I mean, yeah, they're all funny, but this was like more lighthearted and kind of fun. It wasn't like, you didn't want to, you weren't laughing at how this guy's going to kill himself. It was a lot of fun and hand jobs and drugs and fucking booze. And it was fun. It was like a really fun, quick, it was like a good hour. And it was a lot. And I actually told Joe Sunday night, I said, it's always nice to tell somebody that you like something when you actually did like it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So a lot of times
rather than having to,
you go see something like there's an episode of Family Guy where Brian's friend does like a one-man show and Brian's in the audience going, this is fucking ridiculous. And afterwards the guy comes over to him and he goes, oh my gosh, what a journey.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so I said, I like the hour. So that was that. So now Friday night, I just go back and because I'm up at like 7:00. So I'm tired. So I go back, jerk off again, go to bed, wake up Saturday morning. And now I have to deal with my phone because now all the apps are downloaded, but I need passwords. And I kept trying to get people at the hotel to help me enter passwords, but they were like, we all have Pixels or Androids.
Sure.
I was like, fucking huckleberries. God damn it. City folk, So anyway, so there's this place called the Domain, which is this massive outdoor like mall, but you can live there and there's a Whole Foods and there's fucking apartments and there's parking lots. I mean, this thing is like, it's huge. Everything's bigger in Texas, I tell you. And this was Saturday. So I went to this app. I went to the Apple store, took care of that, came back. And then Saturday night, I went alone to this steakhouse, which was good. Again, it was fine. It was like a pretty basic thing, but it was kind of a fancy place by myself, and which was good. And then I left, and then Kurt said, I'm over at the creek in the cave because there's a creek. They moved the whole creek in the cave over there, so he said, come over there, which was right around the corner from the mothership. The creek in the cave is on 7th Street. That's where I saw the guy in the jockstrap, like right by the creek in the cave. So I walk over there. I go to the creek and cave. I walk in. There's a guy standing there. And I said, I am Kurt's friend. There's a lot of like door people, like nonsense kind of where like there's like 3 guys at the door that are, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here to see Kurt. Okay, well, hold on. And they like go and get Kurt. And meanwhile, I'm texting Kurt. I'm like, hey, I'm here. So I go, guy goes, oh, Kurt's coming up. And I said, well, can I just go back there? He goes, well, you don't have green room access.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
You got to see your credentials.
Yeah, my green room credentials. Great. I said, what am I, fucking string bean king or what? So then somebody goes, Brian McCarthy. And I turn around and it's Rebecca, the owner of the Creek in the Cave.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, hey, Brian McCarthy. And I was like, I can't believe this woman remembers me. And I said, hey, hi, Rebecca, and give her a big hug. And what are you doing here? I mean, we caught up for a minute. I mean,
what are you doing here?
Yeah, it's like weird. I'm in Texas. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, it'd be funny if you asked her what she was doing there.
I actually told her. I said to her, I said, I wasn't.
What are you doing here?
Well, I wasn't sure. I told her. I said, I wasn't sure if you like sold the place to somebody in Texas and they opened a new one. I know.
I think during COVID. When everybody, the big.
That's exactly what she said.
Comedy pilgrimage.
But she was going to pick her dad up at the airport. So she left. I go with Kurt. I go to this green room thing. It's kind of open air and in the back. And then I'm in the green room. And then I realize it's like 10 o'clock and I have to go over Saturday night to go see Joe. I figured this time I'm going to watch the hour. So I go back. Now this time I'm by myself. There's no Kurt, no Jenna.
No flautas.
No flautas. No
Jenna.
Armful of queso.
Right.
Mexican street corn. Just a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like Wolverine. I had them on my knuckles.
Right.
Mexican street corn. So I come into this place now, and the guy, I said that now this is my 3rd night in a row coming to this place, right? So I come in, the guy goes, hi. I said, hi, I'm, Joe's friend. Okay, well, here you go. Here's your thing again. I bought 2 t-shirts for my kids. By the way, each t-shirt, $35. Good quality, though.
Yeah,
it's
probably good. You probably got nice merch, right?
Well, the t-shirts.
Not Gildan.
No,
I did those.
I wanted to get a Joe Rogan mouse pad. And
That'd be
it
great.
just said vaccine with a line through it with his face underneath it, going like, I'm gonna MMA you to death. So, but no, it was nice shirts, nice people to work there. It was fine. I got my dumb shirt, $78 for 2 shirts. So, but then nobody takes me now to the balcony thing. So I'm kind of like, all right. So but I didn't want to assume that I could just go to this green room, this fucking emerald, tower of green room. So I just go in and I go to wait for the elevator. I hit the button on the elevator and this guy comes over who works there and he goes, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I showed him my wrist. I'm like, I don't know. I have the elevator wristband, I guess. And I'm going up to you. I said, I was on this last night. He goes, "Well, you can't use that elevator." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "It's only for ADA," which made me laugh because technically
ADA,
American Disabilities Act.
Oh, okay.
So technically, I'm probably the only person in that place that could use the elevator. But
busting out the cane.
I had it in my bag,
glasses.
my Toomey bag that Kim made fun of. But KC, as I call her, and then she calls me the Sunshine Band. We have a good banter.
Forth,
it's a good banter. It's a lot of tension. There's sexual tension. So he's like, "You can't go in the elevator." So I was like, all right. So then I make a left and there's another door. And I guess that's the door to the green room, but there's a lot of weird little doors in this place. So I go in that door and the guy's like, "You can't go in there." I'm like, all right. So then I show my thing to the guy, my wristband. I go, where can I go now? Where would you like me to go? Like, where can I go? And he brings me into the main floor and he sits me all the way back. And there's like 2 empty chairs. And this guy that brought me back, he was like clearly like a comic. At this point, the MMA guys are, roundhousing. And actually Friday night, there's one of the people, a patron took a swing at one of the MMA guys and the MMA guy hit him. And then somebody else got kicked out for pissing in the sink. So that was exciting.
Quite a bit going on. That's just a Sunday.
As the staff became more comfortable with me, every time I would see somebody, I would go, "Don't worry, I'm not going to pee in the sink." It was like our own laughter thing,
Brought the house down.
They said, "Where does this guy go up?" So anyway, so I go, I'm like, all right. So they put me in this, and I say to there's this guy that brought me there, and I swear to God, I think he was maybe 4'10" and a little skinny white guy. And there were these 2 empty chairs and he put me in one, but the one chair, I was like between these 2 guys that clearly knew each other. And the other chair was just over there by itself. And these chairs aren't like numbered. It isn't like row J, seat 12. It's just an empty chair. I said to the guy, I'm like, "Hey, instead of, can I just sit?
So I don't have to be in the middle of your conversation.
Can I sit right there?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, no, they told me to bring you here." Like nobody fucks around in that place, boy. If they told me to go
ship, it's like a bunch of Navy SEALs.
Yeah, if they told me that I had to go sit in the ice machine, they would. I'm like, you have to do it or leave, but don't piss in the sink.
Go make weight and come back.
Yeah, so go run
weigh in.
Yeah, go run in a trash bag like a Martin.
Sweat out some water weight.
Yeah. So I'm like, so he says to me, "I can't move over." So I sit in this seat, and these 2 guys are looking at me. I go, "Hey guys. You guys also VIPs? Good times, huh?" So then I sat there and I was like, you know what? I can't see anything. I'm like annoyed. It's fine. I'm not going to say anything to anybody, but I'm just going to go. So I leave. I go back to the Creek in the Cave. I pick up Kurt, and then he's going back anyway to the Comedy Mothership. You get a feeling it's a lot of like that place to that place, that place to that place. And but again, Kurt was great. Kurt just walked me around everywhere, going here. He was telling people I'm funny and everything. It was very it was easy. We've known each other for.
Are you dying or something? Like this almost
has
like a vibe like
it's like Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, it has a vibe like you've got 6 months to live.
Be funny if Joe goes. Joe goes, "And tonight we have a really special friend with us tonight."
Right. They bring you up
all the way. Can we get a medium spot on row? That single seat. Oh no, he's not there. He's between the 2 guys. Let's get that spot then. Put it over there. And actually, the night that Joe asked me if I saw the show, and I said I did, he actually said, "Did you hear your name?" So I guess there's a joke, and I'm in one of the jokes. And then I said, "No, I didn't see it. Honestly, I'm sorry." But I said I'm going to watch it on Sunday. Yeah. So then Saturday night, and again, like I know this is all pretty boring, but I'm getting somewhere. Trust me. So, and by the way, let me say right now, please, look, we have a Patreon for this show, and it really is great when people support the show through the Patreon because it really does help. And I have to pay Adam $9,000 every time he shows up here, and I got to pay for the Uber. He takes the Uber pool to save a little money. Yeah, but still. So I'm going to do this. I'm not going to the good part, I'm not going to tease it and go only on the Patreon or whatever. I'm just going to tell the story, and the Patreon will have more. It'll be more stuff. So you're going to get the good story in the free show. So if you would do me a favor, please, if you're listening to the free show, please understand that we're just, this is kind of like a big gimme to a certain extent, because it's interesting to some people. And so join the Patreon, please. Do me a favor, join just for a month. Just join for a month. And I like the numbers to go up. It would be nice. That's it. So you're going to hear what you want to hear. So you're suffering through all this bullshit about Mexican food and, elevators and everything. We're almost there.
45 minutes of preamble so far.
Oh, we're just getting started.
Guy really paints a fucking picture.
Yeah. So now it's Sunday morning. No. So Saturday night. So then I go see Joe, and I see Joe, and then I said same thing. Hey, how you doing? Great show. And I leave. I go back to the hotel, jerk off, go to bed, get up Sunday morning, nice and early. And then those guys sleep in late. So now Sunday's my last day here. And at this point, I just can't wait to get the fuck out of there. It's fine. It's a very nice place. And I've really enjoyed seeing Kurt, and I've enjoyed seeing Joe. But it's like, I'm on my last day, and it's kind of like, I've nothing really to do. I'm kind of wandering around. So I found this place to go get ice cream, and I saw it was like 2.5 miles away. So I said, I'll walk there. I walk all the way west, all the way.
Hike.
It was a hike. It was hot too.
Yeah.
I got all the way there, get the thing all the way back. Nobody's on the street because everyone's watching fucking football. So come back. So Sunday night, I go to the Kimberly place with the bread service. See, we're catching up now. Now we're just about there. So I go to the show, and this is Sunday night. And this time, I go up with Kurt. I'm in the green room side, and I go to the balcony that is right off of the green room, and I sit there, and it's me by myself. There was like 1 or 2 people kind of come in and out, and I sat there, and with my full attention, I watched the hour. And I very much enjoyed the hour. It's a lot of fun. You should see it. I think it's the same hour that's on YouTube. It's really good. So anyway, did that, watched that, good stuff. And then afterwards, I'm in the green room, and I get a text from Joe, and he's like, hey, come down to Mitzi's, because I'm in the, did I say that right? Mitzi's? Sure.
Yeah.
Mitzi. Okay.
Mitzi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mitzi's, right. Mm-hmm. Sorry. He goes, come down to the bar and, come hang out. And this is my last night. I hadn't really hung out. So I was like, tonight, it's the end of the run again. Look it up. Joe's going to be more relaxed. It'll be fun, blah, 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 so I go down to this Mitzi's bar, go in, I give Joe a hug, and I said, boy, it was really good. I watched the whole hour. It was a lot of fun, and blah, blah, congratulations. I know he made a lot of money that weekend. So, and he looked like he was very happy, in a good mood. And that was great. So I'm talking to Joe, and then Joe says to me, and here's the story. Okay. Is what we've all been waiting for. Okay. So Joe says to me, have you met, this is my friend Tony.
Okay.
And I'm talking to
Tony
this guy.
Heathcliff.
So I'm talking to this guy, Tony, and I go, hey, how you doing? And he's not a very big guy. He's a little guy. And he's talking to me, and he's got a big black hat on, and he's like, yeah, talking to me. I mean, he's a very nice guy. And I said to him, are you the Kill Tony guy? He goes, yes. And I said, oh, look at that. I said, well, congratulations. You're really killing it out there. And he's like, yeah, nice. He was fine. No static. It was fine. So then I'm talking to him for a minute, and then Joe comes over, and I said to Joe, because we talked about like maybe going out, getting in some trouble, maybe running around a little bit, seeing a little bit of Austin. They opened a Mother's Ruin down there, maybe go over there. So I said to Joe, so what's the plan for tonight? What's going on? You know? And he goes, well, Shane's on his way. And I said, oh, okay. He goes, Shane's on the way over here. I said, all right, that's cool. So great, fine. So I'm talking to Joe, and then Shane comes in. Okay. Shane's about 6'3", maybe something like that. 6'4", maybe big guy, little mustache, but big guy. And kind of comes in, goes right over to Joe, says to Joe, hey, and he gives him kind of a hug. I mean, they're clearly good friends. And then Joe says to Shane, I want to introduce you to Brian. He's a good friend of mine from New York. And Shane immediately goes, I know who you are. You said a bunch of shit about me on your show, and then you tweeted it. So I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah,
so,
pretty confrontational.
So I said to Shane, and by the way, this is this is pretty much right on point. I'm not going to say I'm quoting, but like
any liberties.
I'm really going to try to keep this as close to like what really happened as possible. And for those of you who've listened to this, and sometimes you may hear things I say that sound fantastical, and then you'll go like, check me. You'll always find out that it's true. You know what I mean? Like it is really, I don't want to oversell it, but like, I'm really, going to tell this to you in how it really happened, because then it's more interesting. So he goes, you said a bunch of shit about me and then you tweeted it. And I said to him, I said, well, not really. I said a bunch of shit about you, but I never tweeted it. I don't really tweet. I said, but I did say a bunch of shit about you. So Shane is standing there and he's not aggressive, but he's visibly annoyed. So this guy, Tony, comes over, right? Tony stands next to Shane. And the image that popped in my head is, you ever see A Christmas Story? With the leg and everything.
Sure.
Do you remember the one bully that had the coonskin cap?
Yeah,
and
Scott Farkas.
Yeah, very good. And then the little guy with the little derby hat.
Of course,
and he goes, "Are you gonna cry, little baby? You're gonna cry." So I looked at Tony and I was like, wow, he reminds me of the little bully from.
Yeah.
But again, there was nobody was bullying me, but they were standing there. And Tony says, like, oh, hey, he came over to say hi to Shane. And he goes, hey, Shane, what's going on? And then Shane, like, literally, and we're all standing within 5 feet of each other. This bar is not big, and we're all in a pretty tight space right at the bar. So Shane's like kind of motions to me. I'm right across from him. And he goes, yeah, this guy said a bunch of shit about me. And then he tweeted it, and I interrupted him again. I said, I never tweeted. I said the shit, but I didn't tweet.
Right.
And he's like, well, he said a bunch of shit about me. So I just said, I attempted just to put it to bed sort of immediately.
Right.
And I said, listen, this is how I remember it. You came on the show about 6 years plus ago.
Oh my God.
I know it's crazy.
A long time ago. Yeah.
It's a long time ago. Well, it could have happened. It was like it happened. It was like it happened at that domain place in the Apple store the day before. But I said, this is what I remember. You came in. I thought that you were a member of the audience. You came in, you were actually the guest on the show. I didn't realize that. You were visibly annoyed that I didn't know that you were, the guest on the show. And then we had this show. And again, I was drinking. Sure, fine, whatever. That's fine. And then that night, we did a show at the New York Comedy Club. And somehow I ended up hosting it. I still don't know how that worked out. And I called you Sean Gillis. And you were annoyed by that too. So my memory, my recollection of our interaction was that you were high-handed with me, and you weren't particularly friendly to me about you weren't really putting up with. I said, but again, I think I said you got fired from SNL like 3 times. I said, you just gotten fired from SNL. And you were maybe you were in a bad place, or you were grouchy.
I feel like this was way before that.
No.
The fired from SNL thing?
Yeah. No, SNL thing. A lot's happened in the past 6 years.
I know, but I remember when that happened. I thought that was way after.
Again, I might be fucking up the timeline on that end, but I don't think I am. I mean, we can look it up if you want, but I feel like this had just about happened. It was certainly like the thing that people would know about it at that time about Shane. So Shane says to me, Shane goes, that it didn't happen like that. I am never not like respectful and nice to people. And I'm always like nice. I'm always nice. And I'm never. And I said, there's 2 words you should never use. And one of them is never. And the other one's always. I said, so I remember it one way. You remember it another way. We're just going to have to agree to disagree. I said, and I have a disease called Irish Alzheimer's where I forget everything except my grudges. So I remember you kind of being, a little high-handed with me and maybe big timing me a little bit. And I said, but honestly, and this is really how I'm talking to this guy. I said, honestly, you are fucking killing it out there. What do you give a fuck what I have to think anyway? I said, who gives a shit? I said, I'm like a huge nobody. I'm just here. I said, yeah, this happened years ago. I said, but I remember how it happened for me. It's what I remember. So, oh, well. So this Tony guy, now it starts to get very good here. So this Tony guy goes, did you ever say anything about me? And now I'm pretty sure Kim Congdon is standing next to him. I know. Well,
say anything about me.
Well, because he wants to he sees what's going on here, and he wants to like get into it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I look at him.
Real shit stir this.
Oh
guy.
Yeah, little. Put emphasis on little. So I look at him. And I said, okay, you are complicit in the election of Donald Trump. Okay, so there's that. I said, and also, you never should have said anything about Puerto Rico. It is a lovely island. Matter of fact, it's an island of enchantment. And it says it right on the license plate. And I know that because I spent Thanksgiving dinner with some Puerto Ricans, and they eat dinner off of their license plates.
That's funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to fuck around, and God forbid,
let's have a little fun.
I'm just trying to joke around. Right.
Yeah.
I said, and also I said, Dominican Republic is right next door. I said, and that is a real shithole. So I said, so there you go.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure the Kim girl was next to him and she was laughing, but it could have been somebody else. I don't
Yeah.
know. That part's a little blurry on that side.
Mhm.
And he's
who I believe is Puerto Rican.
She is Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. That's why. By the way,
ties together.
Hey, Kim, return my phone.
Weave it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kim, return the phone. No questions asked, please. All right, we all know what happened. So anyway, so I'm like talking, and then I'm kind of like, and Joe's standing there, kind of with his hand at his head,
Right?
And he goes like, and he's like, you know, it's like Michael apologizing for Fredo, you know, and he goes like, and he goes, and he goes to Shane. He goes, you know, Brian was a bad drunk. And I look at both of them. I go, I was a very good drunk. I got drunk very well. I was excellent at it.
That's
I said,
debatable.
And I said that doesn't have anything to do with anything. I always had fun. Fuck you. I don't care.
No, I'm sure that you. I'm sure you had a great time.
That's all that really matters, you know, at that point. So I just decide I'm going to extricate myself from this area. So immediately to my left, there are these two girls. And I turn to my side, and there's this girl standing there, and she's in this little black dress, long black hair, very skinny, very cute. And I turn, she looks at me, I look at her, and she goes, hi. And I said, well, hello. And I start chatting with her. Now, what I start doing is, and now Shane, at this point, like I'm forgotten about. They're talking, but I can still, I don't want to say something corny, like I can feel the energy, but like
lingering.
There's something, you know, there's
animosity.
It was just right over there. And this is all about 6 feet away. So I made the executive decision in my head. I'm like, I'm going to bust this girl up. I'm going to really get her going. So I've got her laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And again, it sounds self-serving, but I was making her laugh a lot. And she's laughing. And at a certain point, we're you know, she's laughing. And then she hands me her drink. And she goes, I have to go to the bathroom. Will you hold my drink? I said, sure.
Don't put anything in it.
I'll get to that. So I hold her drink, and that guy Tony is standing there, and I'm kind of like, I'm waving him in a little bit because he had told me earlier that he's single, and he's kind of like looking at me like he's not allowed to talk to me, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
probably damaged goods.
But I was like, hey, this girl, I'm like, she's really nice and she's hot. I don't know. She seems like she's very friendly. I'm like, I'm married. Nothing's going to happen here. I said, why don't you see if you can, you know, and as I'm saying this to him, she comes back in. And I have her drink, and I give her back her drink. And I said, look, I think you should know that this guy tried to put a roofie in your drink. And I told him he can't. And I said, also, look at that dress. It's kind of not necessary. I said, you seem like it really is Coles to Newcastle. I mean, that really is like bringing sand to the beach. And she's laughing. You go, yeah, I know. You don't need to roofie me. I love it. You know, very fun girl, very nice girl. And this Tony guy's standing there. So then I just say, I go, all right. Her drink was almost empty. So I said, can I get you a drink? I want to go to the bar. I want to pretend I'm getting a drink. So she goes, yeah, can you please give me a pineapple and a tequila? I said, sure. So I go to this Tony guy. I said, can I get you a little something from the bar? It was a bit of a height dig, but not really. But I said, can I get a little something?
I got to look up I don't remember him being short.
I remember him not being very tall.
Okay.
But he had a big black hat on, and, you know, again, he was standing next to Shane. So there's like,
because Shane's a tall guy.
It's forced perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it was like when they shot the Lord of the Rings, they'd always make a little Elijah Wood. They'd shoot him from like a ladder or something.
Right.
So, so I go, so I say to the girl, okay, I'll be right back. I'll go get a drink. And she's with Tony.
5'9". Yeah. Not super tall.
He's not, but he wasn't tiny, but standing next to
Yeah. Right.
And like I'm 5'11", like I'm a fucking giant.
Sure.
Who cares?
Right.
It's critical 2 inches. So, so I'm walking by and I see Joe, and he's at a banquet with some other people. And I go to Joe, I go, hey, I'm going to the bar. You want something? I got an empty hand. No, I'm good. So I walked and again, this is all happening in like a 10-foot radius. This is not a big area. Everyone's kind of like mushed into this bar banquet area at the very beginning of this bar, right? So I go to the bar and I'm waiting for the bartender to pay attention. And Shane is at the bar, like 3 people down from me, and there's 2 guys with him, and I recognize one of them from like being a guest on Your Mom's House. He had red hair and kind of a red beard, and I don't remember his name.
Andrew Santino,
maybe. Matter of fact, that sounds right to me.
He's like one of the only redheaded dudes I could think of.
Okay,
I don't know.
Okay, fair enough. And there was some other guy who vaguely may look familiar. So I'm waiting, and Shane is clearly telling these guys about me or saying something about me.
Fucking guy.
And then Shane looks over at me and he does that De Niro thing with his fingers, And he goes, you know what you did. You know what you did with his finger. So I take my fingers out and I do it back. And I went, I'm in your head. I'm in your head. You know, I'm in your head. I don't know why, but I'm in your head. I don't know why. I'm in your head. I'm in your head. And then so the redhead guy like says to Shane, like, what is going on with like you and this guy? Like, what is
why
this?
Is there like,
and now this is where our evening could have, this could have taken,
this was the fork in the road.
Exactly right. Because Shane says that guy said a bunch of shit about me on his podcast and he's being a pussy. And this is what Shane, you're going to hear this. Maybe this is what you said. So whatever. He goes, and he's being a pussy and he won't apologize.
Oof.
So he didn't call me a pussy, but he called me a pussy to a certain extent.
You're being a pussy.
I'm being a pussy.
Displaying.
He didn't say this pussy did. So there is a little bit of a semantics there.
Yeah.
And again, by the way, I'm not even worked up about any of this. I'm just kind of like, dude, whatever, man.
Yeah. This was 6 years ago.
Yeah. So I say to him, I said, listen, if I was a pussy, I would apologize to you. But I'm not apologizing to you.
Right.
What I will say to you is I will say a non-apology. I'm sorry that I am making you so upset. And that's as good as it's going to get. I said, that's it. I'm sorry that for some reason I'm making you so upset. And he's looking at me and I said, and then the drink came back and I said, to bartender, I said, thank you. And I just walked away and I go back to the girl and I give her drink. And I'm standing there, and I said, I told her, I said, listen, I said, I'm going to go talk to Joe. And she said, hey, I'm coming to New York in a couple of weeks. And I said, great, I'll take you to lunch. She puts her number in my. She puts her number. I said, well, she had a friend with her too. I said, I'll take you and your friend. I wanted to keep this very above board. I want to. Plus, the girl's 25 years old. I mean, Jesus Christ. Hey, yeah, take it. Want to go to Epstein? You're too old for him, but not for me. Come on, you want a mustache ride? I'll get Shane over here. Hey, Shane, can I borrow your mustache? So I can put this broad on my lips. Hey, you want to give the old Mechanicsville spin? Mechanicsburg. Anyway, fucked it up. But anyway, so I go. So she puts her number on my phone. I go over to Joe. Joe goes, what is going on with you and Shane? I said, Jesus Christ. I said, nothing.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear wasn't there like shouting involved? Like, what's happening?
Not quite shouting, but
it was pretty public.
It was, yeah.
You weren't whispering.
No, there was a lot. It was a lot of unnecessary animosity.
Right.
And so I told Joe, I said, listen, I've been up since the morning anyway. I'm tired. I'm leaving. I said, I'm not leaving because of him, but I'm just going to get out of here because I want to go jerk off to escort ads and go back to my room. And, it was already like, midnight or something, 11:30. I said, so I'm going to get out of here. So I leave. And now for those of you who might say, oh, well, Brian, any of this is bullshit. An hour after I got back to my hotel room, I got a text message from the girl saying, hey, where did you go? Not implying that she wanted to fuck me or that I was going to cheat on my wife. None of that shit.
I'm implying it.
But yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was hoping somebody would.
Inferring?
No, but in that she was having enough fun. Like I wasn't like creeping her out. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like creeping her, or I certainly wasn't.
She was in the area with like that was like presumably like a VIP area, right?
Yes,
so she would have to know somebody.
She's the host of a poker show. I have all her information.
Poker show. Okay.
She might, if it works out, they're coming to New York
maybe we'll,
in a couple of weeks. I'd love to have her on.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh my salchicha. No, but she's a very nice girl, and we've texted since then, but I've always been like, hey, I want to take you and your friend. They've never been to New York before.
Right.
I'll take you and your friend to lunch. It's very above board. I'm not trying to like make any time with this girl or anything, but it does illustrate the point that you could say, I don't know why it lends some credibility to the story, but I'm talking to this girl and being friendly and funny or whatever. And then, if I was like a total weirdo or whatever, she would never have texted me an hour. Where'd you go? You know what I mean? So I didn't text her back until Monday when I got back into New York. And I was like, oh, hey, I had to get up early, I had to go masturbate to escort ads. Sorry. And then then she sent me a link to her YouTube channel for her poker thing. And that's it. So anyway, that's the Shane Gillis story. Now,
he's not over it.
The takeaway is this, okay? If he would have walked in there and saw me and still remembered me and everything and said to me, oh my God, I remember you.
Sure.
I made you so unhappy with our interaction that you went on your show and you talked about how sad, and it's gotten back to me. I am so sorry for you. Let me give you a hug. If he would have done that, I would have felt like such an asshole, and I just would have been like,
yeah,
I would have been like, yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool. I just, it was just, I was a bad drunk. Joe will tell you, I just made a mistake. Sorry. I would have fallen over myself apologizing. If he just came in and he was like, because here's what you have to remember. I'm sure he worked that weekend. I know he flies private, probably made 50, 75 grand or whatever the fuck it is that weekend. Like I would have, if he just would have walked in there, even knowing me and knowing that, even thinking that I was an asshole or whatever, if he just looked at me and said, "Oh, fuck this guy," and he went, "Oh, hey, I remember you. Yeah, you said those things about me. Why I ought to pound you.
Right.
Let me bring over the little guy over here. We're gonna put you on the Kill Tony show, but we're gonna call it Kill Brian, and we're gonna get you in this town. And you better get your 6-shooter. We're gonna meet in the middle of the street." That would have been like, "Oh, this guy's fucking great. Okay, my bad. Sorry." But, for someone who he just was extraordinarily thin-skinned. And I'm again, Shane, if you hear this, I'm sorry that I ruined your Sunday night. Hopefully when I left, you were able to regain some pleasure from your existence once I left the room to go violently, pull my half-limp noodle.
Well, with a name like Gillis, you might have a little bit of the Irish Alzheimer's too. He looks like a big old Mick,
something like that.
Probably. I mean, people like that,
Listen,
they hold their grudges.
Yes, but
they want to settle your hash
in a weird way. I think it's one thing to hold a grudge. It's another thing to act like such the injured party. And like when somebody, you don't demand somebody apologize to you. Like you need to apologize to me. Like, and I mean, I have discussed this with my doorman. Ad nauseum.
Sure.
Let me tell you what Danny has to say, and also Nick and Jamie a little bit. But we were in the elevator only for 3 floors, so I didn't get a lot out of him. But it's the kind of thing where you say to somebody, you're a pussy if you don't apologize. I think for the past, look, that guy's had an incredible career for the past 4 years. I mean, really. I mean, he's hosted SNL.
Oh yeah, he's doing great. I mean,
twice.
he beat cancel culture, presumably. I mean,
something like that.
He was canceled, and then the groundswell of support from people, free speech people.
Yes, exactly.
Made him way bigger to the extent where he was then asked to come back and host SNL.
Yeah, which
more than once.
I would have said fuck off, but whatever. Again, that's his thing to do. You know what I mean? No one's asking me to host SNL.
But I mean, it's kind of amazing though to think of all of that success and then to be like, I'm still fucking.
I know.
Got something stuck in my craw. That McCarthy boy. It's kind of funny.
It's never enough. It is never. Well, it's like when you talk to people that do comedy or whatever, and they'll say they look on the audience and everyone's having a great time, but there's one person not laughing.
Exactly, that's the one you fixate on, and it's the same reason why people troll on the internet, because you can say 1,000 nice things to Shane Gillis, and then the one guy that's saying something negative gets his attention. So it's just, you're just trying to get a reaction. I mean, not that that's what you were trying to do. You just you don't like the guy.
And also, I'm not going to, it's not that it's not that now I probably don't like him, but I mean, it's not like I just was like, look, this is how I remember it happening. Like, I'm not going to apologize and say, I'm really sorry that I behaved that way. It's like, dude, fucking get over yourself, man.
Well, and it really, at that point, it's kind of like hypothetical, because like, yes, I do know you were drinking heavily at the time. Something presumably could have happened, but you don't know actually what it was.
Oh no, I'm sure I was wasted, but at the same time, like, I remember very clearly him being like, I'm the guest on the show, and just us starting off on a bad foot.
Sure.
So that's fine.
And this is how I would imagine it. And I wasn't there, but I would imagine, just knowing what I know, and then knowing you sober, knowing you when you were drinking, I think
always gay.
Probably what I would imagine happened is that when you realized it was bothering him, you probably leaned into the joke maybe a little bit of like calling him like
and
Sean Gilroy or something. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'm sure there's no way you left that on the table.
Yes.
So you probably took it pretty far. I bet it was funny. And a little cruel, and he just is like, he has a thin skin. And also, look, you were at those compound shows. The nature of it is, of course,
antagonistic,
of course.
And that's sort of what. And at a certain point, I wanted to say to Shane, like, look, this is just fucking pro wrestling. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, we're not really. Right. I don't really have any feelings.
That's
like
the funny thing about all those guys, though, is like they are, and I know it's like been said a million times, but like those guys actually do have I know like Jeff Ross, the like roast guy.
Oh yeah,
notoriously has a very thin skin.
Yes.
Like you hurt his feelings. He's gonna like text you later. I've heard many stories
me too.
of people that have hurt Jeff Ross's feelings. You're like, I mean, to be in a business,
and I know like
that.
All the world is not a stage, and maybe you do it over there and you do it over here. But I don't know. Again, it was like one of these things where he just, when he rolled in and we started, and I actually did say to him when in our first, the longest interaction was when he first came in, I said, I talk about you on the show very infrequently, but when your name comes up, it's like Seinfeld and Newman. I just go, oh, that's Shane Gillis. He was mean to me. I said, if I have to explain it to you, it's not worth it. It's just kind of a goof. It's a silly thing that you're this guy having this incredible career, and we're sitting in my, admittedly nice apartment in front of this green screen. And by the way, it has all those pussies cats on it because you called me a pussy, by the way. Kitty cats.
Sure.
That's what
pussy
it is.
cats.
If that gives you pause. Anyway, so you're the pick of the litter.
Right.
So my point is like, I was trying to, and then when I was making that girl laugh, I actually took a second and looked around, and girls, the two girls were the cutest girls in the room. If it was Kim's also cute. I mean, but this girl was like dressed to go out and everything. And, I'm like busting this girl up, and it's like, I knew that I'm looking around. I'm like, not that it's a contest, but I'm like, a lot of these guys, this is not in their wheelhouse. There were a lot of people that look. I tell you what was exhausting was trying to be in that green room, having these guys try to be like out funny each other.
Right.
Oh my God.
I do love the little detail that you were trying to hook the guy up that sells out Madison Square Garden.
Well,
that's adorable.
He clearly I don't know. I don't know what he was just hanging around. I asked
I get it, but
before Shane showed up, I was like, because I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, I knew about the Republican National Convention thing, and like I know this Kill Tony thing is very popular. But like I asked him, I said, "So do you live in Austin?" And he was very friendly. I think he's from the Midwest. I think
he's from Ohio.
There you go.
I did meet him once. But it was like before he was big,
right? Well,
but nice enough guy.
He's still not big. If you know what I mean.
But yeah, no, it's just funny to be like the idea that she's in the green room with the Kill Tony guy. Clearly knows who he is. Like, everybody knows who.
I would imagine,
especially there.
I don't know.
And you're like, single lady over here, raring to go.
I'm talking like this girl is like laughing and she's friendly. She's like, and again, I'm not saying she wanted to fuck me. I'm not saying that I was not trying to come on to her, but she was like, she was clearly on a Sunday night. She's out and she was with her friend's birthday. As a matter of fact, she and her friend were at the same restaurant that I was in at the same time. I just didn't know who she was at the time, but I was like, "Oh, what'd you guys do tonight?" And they go, "I went to Kimberly." And I said, "Oh my God, I went there." And the first thing I said was, "Can you believe they want to charge you for bread?" And she was like, "I know."
Oh
my friend that I talked about
deeply.
I know exactly. And now,
take me now.
And now we're getting married. Do you want the sea bass or the poached chicken? Tell us now, please. But no, you know what I mean. But I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, that's kind of like why I left too. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna get laid. I'm not drinking. Like, I'm just going. I mean, I've been up since 7 a.m. I walked 10 miles to get ice cream today, like a moron. So anyway, so that is like the whole story, and and but again, I'm not telling this story for like the clout of it. I'm not going to tag Shane. Like if it gets back to him, I don't give a fuck, whatever. But like at the same time, like I'm not bringing this up and as an, this is just because a lot of people that listen to this, they know about the whole Shane Gillis thing. So it is funny because we have said over the years, gee, I wonder what happened if I ran into Shane Gillis. And I ran into Shane Gillis.
Sure did.
And he couldn't have been more butthurt. He was more butthurt than Freddie Mercury on his 40th birthday. Get it? Because he's gay.
Yeah, bleeding from the anus.
Yeah, bleeding from the anus. Yeah,
that's how butthurt he was.
I was like, dude, I want to be like, dude.
Yeah, it's fun, like, but I mean, you must have really gotten under his skin initially, like that. Still,
yeah, and also
he was upset.
Look, and I also get it because I do exude a natural charm and charisma,
right?
And I'm pretty darn good looking. I was wearing a pair of shorts with loafers,
great legs.
Yeah, so Shane, no one blames you for envying me. I understand.
No, it's just funny that it still
so
would
silly.
linger that. But then also it seemed like the thing that he was really drilling down on more was that you were talking shit after the fact. Not like you didn't seem like he was so preoccupied with you being rude or whatever, or like,
well, I think
goofing
it was
on him the first time. But
the number one thing was when he told me, he was like, I am never like that. I'm always friendly and I'm never not nice.
Right.
And number one, come on, we've all had a bad day. So, don't open up with that. And you had he had an opportunity to, when he didn't even have to say anything. He could have said, oh yeah, you said some stuff about me. I know you little rascal. What are you doing here?
Rascal.
What are you visiting Joe? You trying to see how it is for people that are really in showbiz? Or some bullshit. I don't know. I would have laughed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the way that you fucking get, you know what I mean? Like you have to kind of, that's the business, right?
Yeah,
you have to cut people up with your words but to just be like, you're fucking mean, man. Like it's weirdly very vulnerable.
It really is.
Which is kind of sweet.
It was sweet until he said he's a pussy. And there was a part of me that almost felt, well, I don't want to say I ever felt badly for the guy, because I don't feel badly for him. It's a stupid thing to say. But like there was again, and I know I'm starting to repeat myself, but like, when he first saw me with Joe and Joe said, this is Brian, he could have said, I know who you are. You said a bunch of stuff about me. You're a rascal. And then I would have been like, oh, this guy's all right. What's wrong with me?
I'm trying to think of how
maybe I owe him. Maybe I do. Then I would have been an organic thing. Yeah. But like to say like, it's also like, I know, I think his politics are pretty conservative, and that's whatever that is. But like, it was a very like, dare I say, a Trumpian thing to be like, if you need to apologize to me. Like, what are you fucking?
Some of those guys too are like, they're great at material. Like they can write material, and they're great sort of on stage when they have the floor, but they're not great with like the schoolyard comebacks.
And that's why with this girl, I was made it. Not that, look, I can't do much, but I can, make somebody laugh standing in line at the bank or at least I try to. And sometimes it works out. So when I saw the girl there and she was as cute as she was, and these guys I knew they could hear me, and nobody else was like talking to this girl. I was like, you know what? I'm going to turn to this girl and I'm just going to see if I can cut her up and just make her laugh a lot. And I did. And then I was like, well, these guys can't, or if they can, there aren't. And, I don't know, who cares? But so anyway, but I do need to reach out to Joe, because Shane's coming to Baltimore next week, and I need a couple tickets for some friends of mine. So thank you in advance, Shane. If there's some sort of green room balcony, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to ask him. I'm not asking for tickets. Plus, and I look, and also like, I've kind of seen the guys. I'm not a fan. That's all right. It's all right. But again, who cares what I say? But apparently he does. So all right, Shane. Well, I guess we continue.
It's not over.
No,
I think this could be a long, the long famous rivalry.
Would you call this a danse macabre? No, you won't.
Once I look that up, I'll maybe let you know.
It's basically like it's like when two people just fight their whole lives or something,
Sure. Okay.
But again, I'm not fighting with a guy. I don't give a shit. And I am just surprised that, but you're right. It was a very naked, visceral reaction to me, where being like, you said things that I did not. I was like, all right, man. It was,
you sort of hold the cards. I mean, and that's the thing is it's like, I get that you're saying you don't care, but you also cared enough to talk shit. Like we've talked shit numerous times.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that you do care, but you definitely don't like him.
Well, it's not that I do. Okay. It's not that I don't like him. I don't like the fact that I put it this way. I like him. I didn't like him. It wasn't I didn't like him before.
That he takes himself serious.
I don't like that he takes. Yes, exactly right. I don't like that. I
totally get that.
Yeah, I don't like that he takes himself that seriously. And I was surprised at his reaction. Like when that friend of mine told me that he was incredibly thin-skinned, I kind of figured it was going to be like a little bit of a thing, and then that was that. But like, going from one side of the bar to the other bar, and this pussy won't apologize, and kind of making it kind of weird for everybody. Yes. I might actually pop the hood on that and look a little more to see if I can, just be like, hey, anybody else Gillis interaction? Anybody else? But again, what do I give a fuck? I mean, it's just stupid. But at the same time, like I said, the guy flies private left and right, does huge shows, and Shane, all I can say to you is therapy has changed my life. So
it really, You got to do the inner child work.
You got to do the work.
Yeah.
It's
all about the inner child.
Take the steps, do the work.
Take the steps, do the work.
I did like my
Learn to
non-apology.
master yourself.
My non-apology. I'm sorry.
Right. I'm sorry that you felt
I'm
that.
sorry.
It's like a very
it's the most passive
guy
aggressive.
about to get a divorce.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you're freaking out about this.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah, that's like
that's as good as it's going to get. And that's what it was.
Right.
But imagine if I said to him, like, all right, listen, man, I am really sorry. You're right. I was like, then he would have looked at me like, what a queer. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know that he would have.
You're probably right.
I mean, maybe that would be truly, that would be extraordinary if he did like a, you fucking
that would actually that would be you know what that would be? That would be brilliant. That would
be kind of funny.
That would
but I think he would have just gone, okay, see, that wasn't so hard. It's just and then typically when you give the person the apology that they want, then they kind of go and listen, I used to take myself pretty seriously. So I think he seems kind of earnest.
Yes.
But you just never expect that.
No,
you're never ready for that. I mean,
and again,
you might be ready with like a non-comedian, but especially somebody at his level to be like, you hurt my feelings, man.
I mean,
it's kind of amazing.
He couldn't have spit out the words, I know who you are. You said a bunch of shit about me fast enough. God. It was like a Gatling gun. It was like,
I almost wonder if, do you think Joe mentioned that you were there and then he was like,
I can't think.
You know what I mean?
I cannot.
Because like I said, I remember him asking Kevin about you, not knowing that you guys hadn't worked together in years. So like, it's one of those things where maybe he associates you and Joe, maybe not. I don't know.
If I wasn't on Joe's radar enough to put me in the stupid green room on Friday night, when instead of me having to go in as Kurt's guest every time I went into that dumb room, and then Joe says to Shane, like as he's done his spots or nights or whatever, hey, Brian McCarthy's here, and just so you know, he still thinks you're kind of not the nice guy. Yeah. I don't know what, like that would. I don't think Joe thought to say anything about. Well, no, Shane.
I just wonder if it was if it was like to Shane. Oh, who's there? Oh, Kurt, my friend Brian. Like, you know what I mean? Because it seems like he kind of has had it out for you for a while now. So I'm just wondering if he came in loaded for bear. Like, I'm gonna fucking settle this guy's hash.
Well, Joe introduced me and was like, "This is my good friend Brian from New York." And then that's when he was like, "I know who you are." And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Great.
Yeah. And then I was like, hey, listen, I remember it this way. You remember it that way. Like, whatever. Hey, you want to, but, at the same time, listen, I'm going to go here, talk to this broad over here. Hey, String Bean. It was weird. She was smoking too. I was kind of like, that's weird.
Yeah, it's Texas, right?
Yeah, I
probably
guess.
Smoke wherever.
Yeah. She smoked a cheroot, like one of those like long, like fistful of dollars, cigarello things that Clint Eastwood smoked. Yeah. All right, everybody.
Well, we should go. We're going to go to the beaded curtain.
Hey, anybody want to say anything or no?
Just hi to everybody. Let me see if I see any. Everybody's just listening.
Oh yeah,
not even that many comments. It's just
well, like it all happened, like I said. So I don't know, and I'd be interested. I mean, to see if this gets. And again, I'm not saying any of this because I think you should get. I'm not interested in any kind of clout or any of that bullshit. But again, if you're listening to this show and you haven't joined the Patreon, there are hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of original shows over on the Patreon. It's just a couple of dollars a month, and we could use your support. And I'm expecting to lose some of the Tony Heathcliff fans too.
Right.
And 5'9" isn't that short. Sorry, Tony. I feel like you're getting he's getting a little flack fire, Tony.
Yeah. I said 5'9" and 1/4 on his, like, that's his official height.
That's
so
weird.
Wow.
That's a quarter funny. All right, that's enough. Now I'm just being mean. Sorry, guys.
Being a cunt.
I'm being a pussy. Everybody, thank you for listening. We appreciate all your support. Again, the Patreon, you know how to do it. We're going to jump over.
You know what to do.
You know what to do. Okay. Thanks again. We'll see you next week. I think we're going to have a guest next week.
Okay.
Okay.